I'm James, the Growth Executive. Today's hot take is on systematic versus systemic thinking as leaders. So here's often what happens when I work with clients. They come to me with acute pain, like, hey, we have X number of days to replace Y number of dollars because we lost a grant, or we have this challenge, or someone has resigned, or whatever. All right. So quickly, we can put together a checklist, we can put together stuff to work on, and I can give them all kinds of systems that will help, right? From running a team meeting to identifying the challenge to putting it on a one-page plan. Great. That's easy, actually. That's not that hard, right? For an operations guy like me, that comes very natural. After working with a client for a while, though, I start to see a pattern where the leader shows up in meetings a bit disheveled, not prepared. The culture is that everything's always on fire. And the executive, a lot of the members of the management or the executive team are just like rolling their eyes because it's just always this way, right? I challenge the executive to think, hey, we can solve this with systems, but if we don't deal with the systemic cultural challenges, then it's just the systems are just going to go off the rails. Like it's not going to work, right? We can work for a season and we may solve the most immediate problem, but there'll just be another three problems behind that problem, right? So let's think about how we show up as leaders systemically, and what are we doing with a culture, and how are we presenting ourselves, and what vision are we casting, and how do we go around the room to get that buy-in so that it's sustainable? Because an organization that is not thinking systemically is really, and only doing systems, is burning out a lot of people. And you know this is true because you're losing your best people all the time, and your leader is just, it's always a mess, right? So a good coach will call you on that gently but firmly and help you think about how you're going to rise above the tyranny of the urgent and think about the bigger picture of how I show up as a leader. How do I prepare for the meeting? How do I cast a broader vision and a brighter vision? How do I help my team see the why and the importance of their work? So that when we're talking about the daily work, it's not just the work that we're talking about, but we're talking about how we show up as leaders and the purpose for being, and we create more life. And I'm telling you, as a leader, that is the best way to fight fires. When you're fighting a fire because of a loss of a grant, but you're doing it with a lot of hope, love, and joy with one another because you've dealt with these systemic challenges and you've been able to flip that, it is a life-giving place to be. And I don't care what the organization or the market or the presidents or anybody else will throw at you. If you have that kind of pull, then you find yourself pulled by vision and not pushed by pain. And that is a fantastic place to be. So I challenge you to think about systemic versus systematic. Yes, there's better checklists and systems we can give you, but let's think about how as leaders we show up to do that work and do the important work of working on ourselves and how we show up as leaders so that we can guide our team through the day-to-day and the challenges ahead, because it's a very challenging time. Give yourself some grace. I'm James at thegrowthexecutive.com. You don't have to go at this alone, and I look forward to seeing you on our next workshop. Have a great day.